All right, many thanks for staying with us. Gosh, we're really in the festive period, but guys, on Real Talk with Kike, we don't just talk. We give real talk, and we follow up with real value by providing updates on development and strides taken by stakeholders and industry navigators towards public and societal campaigns. And on the 19th of August, to be precise, we initiated an interview with the NLRC boss on some key initiative and agenda towards the Commission's mandate. And today we'll be hearing another exclusive interview with the NLRC boss on the progress made on the Central Monitoring System and a host of other projects executed by the Commission based on the previous interviews that was granted. And the interview covers quite a number of projects that will marvel you all, I believe so. And of course, it covered a lot of other new updates, especially when it comes to 2023. So this goes to show that the resilience and the unrelenting attitude of the Commission and the ever engaging office of the DG National Lottery Regulatory Commission towards an agenda for 2022 has been very progressive. And before we avail ourselves of that exclusive video of the interview, let's get a quick look at his profile. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Right, many thanks for staying with us. Without further ado, let's go straight to the interview itself to avail ourselves of the development of the Commission and the recent projects that has been handled. And the Central Monitoring System was a major highlight in the discussion between the DG, NLRC, and Real Talk with Kike show. Let's hear the progress of the Commission on this area. Stay with us. All right, excellent afternoon, viewers, and all those who are watching us across the globe. My name remains Kike Lomatondao. You're welcome to another interesting, exclusive interview on Real Talk with Kike. And while I don't want to leave you guessing who my special host is this time around, but I think it's important for me to give you a little bit of hint because he's a notable figure and a decision maker in the gaming industry in Nigeria, and is no other than the Director General of the National Lottery Regulatory Commission, NLRC, and that is Mr. Larry Bajabiamila. Again, welcome. All right, many thanks for hosting us again. You know, hopefully I am praying and hoping that when you're in Lagos, you will visit us in the studio. But I must say that I reckon with you when it comes to all your milestones. I believe that you're a milestone maker, especially when it comes to the gaming industry in Nigeria. But let me start by saying, how are you doing today, sir?
Well, thank God I'm doing great. I feel wonderful, you know, and I'm looking forward to the new year.
Oh yeah, we are in the festive season, and yeah.
Absolutely. How are you doing?
I'm doing well as well.
I see that.
All right, going straight to the business of the day. So Real Talk with Kike was here a few months back, and I had the privilege of having a one-on-one exclusive interview with you when it comes to the development and the achievement of the commission thus far. So I must ask you, the CMS, for those who do not understand the full meaning of CMS, that's the Central Monitoring System, which I believe that is an important when it comes to repositioning the gaming industry in Nigeria. So especially for better revenue and accountability, basically. So where is the NLRC with regards to the acquisition of the CMS presently?
The CMS, like you rightly said, it's a milestone, it's a game changer for the industry, and especially for Nigeria in terms of revenue, which bring out the accountability and transparency of what government needs to see or to get from this industry. Where we are with the CMS is basically we're at the final stage of acquisition.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, we have it in our budget, and our budget with the processes that has to be put in place. We've gone for due diligence to the preferred vendor, and NICTA was there with us, and we've gotten the approval of NICTA for this deployment of this solution, because any technical solution has to be approved by NICTA, who handles all the technology in Nigeria. So we've reached that stage. The final stage that we're in now is to get the procurement compliance certificate, which we should be getting that this coming week. So we're very hopeful. And once we have that, our minister will be taking that to the Federal Executive Council meeting for final approval. And once we have that, then we can now do the acquisition of the Central Monitoring System, which the vendor is ready, because the preferred vendor actually owns the solution. So it's not like a third-party solution, or it's not like we're trying to get a vendor that would now be trying and error. This particular provider has done it in other jurisdictions, so there's a proof of concept, which is the key. There has to be a proof of concept, because anybody can say, oh, we can do it. But have you done it anywhere in the world? So we found out that this particular preferred vendor are the only ones so far that have done it in other jurisdictions, which we verified, and we're happy to say that we're happy with that selection, and we intend to go through the final process and have this hopefully before the year runs out, because it's in our budget for 2022. Sorry, for 2021. I'm moving too fast.
Of course, I understand that. Many thanks for that submission. I just feel that your organization is doing a wonderful job. Of course, you being the driver of the organization. But apparently, I know that when it comes to CMS and it launching in a virgin market like Nigeria, I know that there will be some contingencies and imperfection with the technology adoption. So I must ask you, how do you plan to manage all these contingencies for a higher level for, will I say, operability, for the nearest future, so that, after you, because I'm hoping that in the nearest, you still have another tenure to serve, because I know that you are impacting a lot in this country presently, and we want someone like you to continue to drive this initiative because of the impact I'm making. But how do you see, what do you think how we can move forward when it comes to the operative?
Yeah, I think like I've always preached, my belief is also to carry the stakeholders along. You cannot do things in isolation just because you're a regulator of the industry. You have this regard to your stakeholders. The operators are our stakeholders. The players, the punters, all of them are our stakeholders. Government is the stakeholders as well. So we need to carry them along. By doing that, we need to create awareness, have the stakeholders meeting, let them understand the impact and the need for this, and I think that will mitigate any kind of issues that might come up, because once they have that understanding of the reason why government is doing this, then they'll key in and buy into the project.
All right. Earlier when you were talking about other countries, I know that the CMS in other countries like India have leveraged on telecoms, when it comes to the operation for extensive network and architectures, basically. So the deployment in Nigeria, would there be a collaboration, aside the fact that I know that there is going to be synergies from other parties that you've emphasized on, but with telecommunication in particular, telecommunication firms, I feel that there must be a collaboration to leverage, or will I say totally, for the organization to have an independent control, basically, in terms of architecture of the NLRC.
Yes, definitely, that's a good question. You see, about for our industry in particular, yes, we have other means of the operators have other means of doing the operation rather than just doing retail.
Okay.
I'm going to address back. That's why I said I feel that this is a collective thing for the whole of Nigeria. It's not an individual thing. It's not a state thing, because this is some revenue that will come to the country and will be shared by every state. Wherever the games are being played, we'll be able to see the transactions. Say, for instance, Lagos State, the transactions obviously will be more in Lagos State because Lagos State is a big state and the awareness is there compared to other, like the eastern states or northern states. We will definitely see more transactions in Lagos State, or more than Port Harcourt, or more than Kano, and then we'll be able to know what goes to that state based on this system. And to go back to your question, in terms of the telecommunication, yes, we go engage the telecommunications, but we're not going to engage the telecommunications directly. We have an MOU with NCC, okay, who's the regulator of the telcos, who we already have an MOU with, who will key into our own system. We have the NFIU for financial, they're key. So a lot of national federal agencies, that we need, we'll key into, even FRS, we have an MOU, we're working on an MOU with FRS now. We're little they'll key into for the company tax, and so they can see which lottery companies are part of our industries, and they'll be able to identify have they been paying. So it's a win-win. It's a situation for everybody.
All right, I like what you just said, and I must say that with what you've done thus far, because one of the things I think that I like when it comes to the way you carry the people along is the fact that you like accountability and transparency, and I think that is the key reason for initiating this central monitoring system in the first place, to block all the leakages that will help to foster transparency and accountability for the operation. But I must ask if the NLRC has a fortified database management to be able to gather all these database, which I know that's one of the challenges that we are facing presently in Nigeria. But how do you think that your organization will be able to help in the gaming and the lottery operation in Nigeria before the launching of the CMS?
Here at the NLRC, we have a very robust IT department, and they've been collating the data in compliance with the new policies of the NICTA in terms of data compliance from all the operators. Okay. But this system will even help us more, because every transaction will be passing through the central monitoring system. Okay. And we at NLRC, the department, IT department, will be engaging, will be the ones managing that system. Absolutely. Collating the data for both analyzing it when it comes to where games are being played, which states has a more transaction, which players,
and the age bracket,
underage gaming, we'll be able to detect that. And so many, with data, like you said, data helps you in so many ways.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right.
I'm very hopeful with that.
I know that according to the Minister for Special Duties in Intergovernmental Affairs, and that is George Akum, he said that the gaming industry remitted less than 1 billion in 2019, and that is despite having, I think, the potential to even bring in more revenue, basically. You know, so what transformation do you think that this revenue, you know, revenue generation will be looking at after the deployment of the CMS in 2022, basically?
Definitely, my Honorable Minister, Senator Jordan Kume, has a lot of passion for this industry, and he's been so very supportive and very eager for us to have this central monitoring system deployed. So I can relate to his passion. I can relate to his eagerness and what he wants in terms of revenue for the nation.
Okay.
And we are on the right track. Once we deploy this, Nigerians are going to be, the federal government and Nigerians are going to be very proud of this industry. Where it goes, you know, surpass a lot of expectations with this central monitoring system, because the accountability will be there. Everybody will be able to see what's going on. We'll have actual numbers, not speculative numbers that have been going around the industry, that the industry is worth 2 trillion, the industry is worth X billions, we're losing. The system will let us know the actual. You know, what we have now, we're just speculating. The potential, yes, the potential is there, because we have almost over 100 million Nigerians, you know, maybe it's half of those that play the game, both sports betting and lottery, you know. The numbers with the central monitoring system will justify, and will know that, okay, this is where we are now, this is the true numbers, this is what we want to go for. So the potential is there, and I believe that we should even be doing more than our own expectation, you know, in terms of the 1 billion, 2 billion, you know, mark that we're saying. I think those are conservative numbers to me.
Okay.
You know, if we can get these things right, and we go get it right, once we get it right, you know, Nigerians will be proud of us.
Absolutely. And I like the fact that you're saying that we're going to get it right, because that is what you stand for. Yeah. And that is what I feel that the few people that have engaged when it comes to you have always said, that because you have that to-do spirit. I must ask you, the Nigerian national game, which was one of the notable highlights of the last conference in Lagos, which you commissioned and you promised to achieve a lot of initiative that was said at the end of 2021. So I want you to please share with us, you know, what are the updates made thus far with a lot of initiative that was mentioned at that conference.
Yes, with the national game, that one is very, very, we had a little bit of setback with the technical partner, but they've ironed that out now. So we believe that that will be done before the year runs out too. Then we go launch that.
Okay.
And hopefully by January next year, it will be in full operational for all the operators who also key in and support this initiative, because it's a legacy for Nigeria, you know, whereby we can say that we have our own national game. And since we met, our Ghanaian counterpart, the Director General from Ghana, did come to visit. And he has said he's going to support this initiative, because he believes that, you know, the relationship that both countries have, we have to continue to support each other, even though they have the Ghana game. The Ghana game has been been on since the Nkrumah of their first president's time in the early 60s, the late 50s, you know. So when he came to visit, and we mentioned to him about our own national game, he was like, you know, he's ready to support, get their own operations to come and, you know, key into the system here, just like our operators are buying into their own Ghana game.
Awesome.
You know, so I think the potential is there. We're even looking at other countries doing a collaboration cross-country lottery with all our neighboring African states. So, you know,
that's a good synergy.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. I just don't want to bring everything out, you know. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward. That's why I said I'm looking forward to next year.
All right. Yeah. So talking about next year, you know, I like when I enter an organization and I'm seeing most of the staff, you know, they're ready to work, they're ready to put in their best. There's this ownership culture, you know, that I see in them. I observe a lot when I go to organizations. I want to touch on the welfare path of this organization, because I feel that welfare stands as one of the key metrics of measuring staff performance, you know, of any organization. So what improvements, you know, have you made in your own current administration in terms of uplifting the welfare of the workforce of the NLRC?
For me, the welfare of the staff is a continuous thing.
Absolutely.
It's not a one-off. It's not a quarterly thing. It's not a seasonal thing. You know, it's something that has to be continued every time. And welfare is also part of training. You know, a lot of the staff have been going for training, continuous training, even though our budget might be limited for that, but we still try, you know, with our staff strength, you know, try and make sure that we have enough or some staff going for training, and then we rotate it, because we cannot take about 1,500 staff for training all at once. We don't have that kind of funding, but we rotate it. So some have gone this year, so the other ones, you know, the new list will come out, they will go next year, and so we do that training, capacity building training, so they can perform, they can do well. We do that. Right now we're working currently on the promotional exam, and a lot of people don't understand that promotional exam is part of welfare.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, once you get promoted to the next level, you know, your salary increases. So since I've been in office, we've been doing that every year. We haven't missed it, and we have one coming up next week. So we're working tirelessly on that. It's almost a done deal, and it is a done deal. The other one is obviously the welfare packages for end of year, you know, salary breaks. So right now, end of year thing, we're now working on distributing some incentives for them to take home as part of. Thank you very much for
doing a good job.
Doing a good job, you know. So the spirit is high. The commission is now in the process of more information of the staff, you know, more orientation of the staff, more understanding of the staff and management being there for the staff, you know, and staff being there for. So it's a day-to-day stakeholder. We're all stakeholders.
Of course.
You know.
All right, glad to know you're still there with us. Gosh, guys, we were just gisting away in the studio because, you know, listening to the commission and the DG speaking, I know a lot of my colleagues right now, my friends on the platform, are going to learn their voice. But in case you're just joining the conversation or just joined the show, today's show is about the project of the NLRC and their initiative and what it has been thus far in terms of boosting revenue for the federal government under the administration of the Director General of the Commission itself, that is Mr. Larry Bajabiamila. I must say many thanks again for joining us, viewers. You know, let me come to you, Marshall, because I know that while we're listening, you know, I would like to ask you, what do you guys think about the central monitoring system? You know, the DG has described it as a check and balance mechanism and transparency and accountability in the revenue framework of the lottery industry. But, you know, what's your take on it?
Yes, I feel it's something that's necessary. This the central monitoring system, aside from the fact that what led to this campaign, or the whole hula baloo in recent time, whether we needed that central monitoring system, was because of revenue generation, that some persons or some public officers had said, look, what you are churning out should be more than what you're actually churning out, and which I agree. Aside from that fact, yes, there should be some sort of central monitoring system where everything can be checked. And again, Kike, if we go back into the commission, I would sort of agree that so far their revenue generation hasn't been impressive, given the kind of outlook the lottery system has in Nigeria, the kind of presence the lottery system has in Nigeria. You'd expect a lot more. Only from gaming you can imagine how much gaming, generates in a day, then a week, then a year. Then you also talk about, aside from gaming, we also talk about pageants and other small or subsidiaries of lottery. They also pay levies, they also pay some kind of revenue, tax and all of that. So at the end of the year, we'd expect 1 billion, 2 billion, a lot more than that.
All right, many thanks for that. I'm very sure you will be watching right now. But Lola, let me come to you. What's your take thus far when it comes to his mandate? That's the DG's mandate and the fulfillment in terms of, how will I put it now, in terms of his mandate as well, based on even from his previous interview.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I like the fact that now we're beginning to put faces before agencies and commissions. A lot of people would know that somebody is at the helm of affairs, but they do not have that interaction. So it's a rare privilege, and I'm totally happy that we're seeing Mr. Gbajabiamila coming forth, to talk about what the commission is doing and what their agenda is. Nigerians are very emotional people. A lot of people do not even know what they do and how they do what they do. So there are so many things that we need to start to, put focus on. A lot of people just like sensationalism. Just like when Marshall put some other things beyond gaming that the commission does. But when people can really, really put face to the work, they know what the commission does. And this thing, they will now know a lot of things about generating income. People just say, oh, maybe because we laymen will see a couple of lottery companies, we just assume that, the money is a lot. Exactly. But there are other bureaucracies, administrative processes, things that go into this thing. So the more they make their mandate clearer to the people, maybe we'll be able to be more understanding. And maybe by the time they put all this new implementation into it. I know this central monitoring system is basically more because of Nigeria and who we are.
Accountability.
Accountability is at the base of it. Because corruption is never far from us. It's like we're Siamese twins if we're not careful. So, so I understand the agitation, and just as I had said, because of a layman's perspective, you might just think because we're seeing a lot of lottery companies springing up, maybe the money that the agency is generating is a lot, but we need to look deeper into it, and we can only get that if the agency is more transparent about what their mandate is and how we can understand it.
All right, many thanks for that. Marsha, let me come to you. I think this might be my last question on this deliberation. And the reason why I'm coming to you is the fact that it's based on what you shared earlier. And I'm looking at it from the angle of, deployment, which he said will commence from early next year, which pronounces good tidings for the commission. So I'd like to ask you, what likely turnaround will you advise, or will you think that we should be looking out for in coming year?
Okay, what I'd be looking out for is something that you on the sideline spoke about that wasn't added in the interview or was extracted from that interview, which is corporate social responsibility, which I felt was key to have brought it in, in whichever levels that is done. The Lottery Commission is a commission that focuses on the smiles on people's faces. I'm just few words short of calling it the luck of people. And when you talk about the luck of people want to wake up one day and then walk into some kind of luck. That commission
that only happens in Nigeria. Let me emphasize on that.
It happens when you just see somebody win.
I've lived abroad. I've never seen any luck shine.
No, lottery. When you talk about lottery, so for me, the commission is more or less, for lack of a better word, I say, for a Christmas company that would focus on putting smiles on people's faces. And they do this by regulating the other companies and agencies that run lottery and the affairs of lottery. So I would think that beyond regulating lottery companies, they should also factor out ways to put smiles on people's faces directly. The corporate social responsibility that you hinted us that they did, I think that was fantastic, and I think they should improve on that too.
All right, many thanks for that, and many thanks for lending your own submission on the topic at hand. All right, I think it's important for us to go on a quick break before we get into our trending issues. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. Now we are on the last segment of the show, which is a trending story. This segment that binds us as Nigerians. And the first trending story that caught our attention is that of Precious Chikwendu, who breaks down in tears and calls on Nigerian women for support as Femi Fani-Kayode continues to hold on to her children or their children. You know, Marshall, let me come to you first. As a man, as a father, as a husband, as a brother, how would you feel?
As a house husband.
As a house husband, many thanks for sharing, for including that.
Yes.
How do you feel with this story?
Well, Kike, in marriage, you're one person that knows that there are too many things that go in there that the public doesn't know. But recently, I think we can be justified if we pass our comments and judgments, because I can rightly say we've heard and seen up to 50%. Nonetheless, we have hardly heard from the other party. There are two sides to a coin. However, on the face value of what's currently happening, holding on to the children, she fighting for the children, I think they are in court, and I think that the law has a course to follow and would follow that. Or aren't they in court? They're in court for custody. But her stories, if there are anything to go by, would buy the heart of anybody who has humanity in him or her. I am short of really using wrong words or the right words to use to describe her husband without mentioning his name. I think Chikwendu has advertised this man in all the bad places. I mean, we all know the story. It is so sad. It is so brutal. It is so inhuman. It is so barbaric. The kind of things we've been hearing that she's been dealt with, the kind of treatment that has been meted out on her, the kind of things she had to endure for 6 years in that marriage. To have thought that she went in there thinking she will meet all the glitz and glamour and then have all the funfair, and she was subjected to all those kind of inhuman treatment. And she endured all of that with the children, with the labor. It's really barbaric.
From a woman's perspective, I always say not all that glitters is gold. And women, we need to take caution, especially if you're dating powerful men or are married to powerful men. You have to kind of empower yourself so that the disparity is not too much. And I want to appeal to Fani-Kayode. Even the fact that he's a statesman, a lot of people look up to him as an elder statesman.
No, is he a statesman? You could say he's a public figure.
Well, let me say public figure, but some people look at him in the political space, and maybe some would look at him and call him that. I would expect him not. Yoruba would say, don't use your power. You know, there's absolute power corrupts absolutely. I know you might have power, but sometimes you need to just don't use it to suppress someone. We're talking about the lives of children here. Parents should know that when there are breakups, you need to guard the mental state of your children and how they are going to view these things. The children, unfortunately, they're still a bit young, thankfully. But imagine when they grow into all these backstories. I really think you should allow her see her children, even if it is supervised. I think the court can actually order it if the circumstances are all right. They can't give her supervised visitation until the real substantive matter is properly
we're not the court.
Dealt with.
I feel the court should intervene in this. Kike, before you make your submission, I'd like you to calm down.
Calm down.
Because I can already see your
about
Tampa
to
brewing,
spill it.
you know. But let's have your submission, Kike. What do you think?
All right, you know, when you were speaking earlier and you said you haven't heard the side of the man, I don't think that's true. Reason being that Femi Fani-Kayode has been putting a lot of information out there. He has been putting a lot of lies, and at the same time, I do not want to really interfere in what transpired in their marriage.
No, I've not.
I don't think that such a man. Do you understand? When such men like that have strong evidence towards a woman, especially when they want to, with what he's doing right now.
What evidence does he have?
No, I'm just saying that if
he has
such men, do you understand? Because if you look at the trail or the culture of men generally, when they are getting divorced from what's it called, from their significant other, do you understand? They tend to call them all sorts of names: bipolar, she's a cheat, she's a dick, and that's exactly what has played out. So when you said earlier that you haven't heard him speak, I'm wondering, are we both in the same Nigeria? However, I'm putting that aside.
You can tell me some of the things he has said.
Which is what exactly I have put out.
I love it.
Which is exactly so. But you know what? This case actually took me a lot of time before I decided to comment and give my opinion on the matter. It has been on for months, and I have been following it attentively so that I can get all my facts and figures, and I don't come here with a lot of emotions, you know, while giving my submission. But I decided that I needed to lend my voice and my platform, you know, to what is right and what will save the life and sanity of another woman. Yes, that word sanity is really important to me, even if I'm not related to Precious Chikwendu, popularly known as Snow White. She is someone's daughter, another woman's child. She belongs to a family, and what we failed, you know, to capture in the picture is that someone who initially took the sacrifice to marry someone has sacrificed her own first family to start a family with you, and that is Femi Fani-Kayode that I'm talking about. You know, she did that, and she mothered 4 boys for Femi Fani-Kayode. So come on, guys, what are we talking about here? She was a former beauty queen. She is still a queen in every right as a mother. She has the opportunity to have chosen another man, but she went with Femi Fani-Kayode. And I like the angle where Lolo touched on earlier when she said that there's nothing as good as a woman empowering herself, and not all that glitters is gold. And I think that that is what most youth today who are actually following this story through to actually pick, because with everything that is happening around now, every young girl out there wants to get rich quick, you know, wants to wear the bone straight hair, wants to follow the rich men, the politicians, the public figure, and the likes and all of that. However, I just feel that, you know, I know that this is a private story. I honestly don't want to meddle in their affairs. But you know what? I want other people to learn from it. Let's start analyzing who is wrong and who is right. And that is where our country is right now, where people are afraid to come and speak. Because on this story, quite a number of people have reached out to me to say, Kike, please be careful. Kike, please don't do this. But guys, I don't know what the word is. Is it certainty? There is nowhere in the world that such a thing like this will be done to a woman, not to talk of you depriving her of her children. This is the fruit of her womb. There is nowhere in the world, I repeat, it is absolutely unfair, unjust. You know, it's, you know, let's you know, aside all these pretty stories and all the nonsense that have been ongoing, you know, the lies that is being peddled against her, that she has done certain things in the past, inflicted injury on her children or whatsoever, on her kids, or she committed one crime, or she has bipolar, or she's a cheat. Guys, I just want you to understand that when a woman is in love, she will never listen to anybody. Even when they are telling her that don't go there, she will be telling you that, what are you people saying that I'm not saying? So I want to use this platform to say this, that I want to assume that, you know, how would I put it? Let me ask this simple question. If she's mentally unstable, why did Femi Fani-Kayode marry her in the first place? is a question I want people to actually ponder on.
So that's his claim. He was bipolar.
Yeah, because the FFK guy saw that she's a beauty queen. He went for her. She doesn't deserve this. And as far as I'm concerned, we all know that someone is using politics and power to restrain her from seeing her children. I want to use this opportunity to say this. I know things don't work in our country. I'm sorry to say this. It's about who knows who. So you can't keep being, because we're in a country where it's so unjust right now with what is happening. And the same man involved with Precious Chikwendu has other children with other women, you know, and something like that never occurred. I'm sorry to say this. I heard in the newspaper or somewhere in the news where I know that one of the daughters married recently, and the daughter personally didn't want Femi Fani-Kayode to attend the marriage. How true that is, I wouldn't know, but I stumbled on it on one of the this thing. What does that tell us? What does that say to us? Which means that the same man who has denied another woman 4 daughters to have access to see her children, the children she gave birth to via IVF,
4 boys.
4 boys rather, you know, what does that tell us? I want Nigerians to think there is another level of wickedness living in some men that we all are not paying attention to. I'm forced to question, are they really human? Is Femi Kayode really human? Where are the human rights advocates? Where are the lawyers? Women activists? She needs to see her children. This is festive period. She's not asking for too much, guys. And I want to end with this, you know, because whether we like it or not, this can happen to anybody. Because sometimes people are quick to say that, what's she looking for there? After all, she's looking for this, she's looking for that. Guys, many ladies that are on the streets of social media right now, if they meet the likes of Femi Fani-Kayode, whether the fact that he has married 10 times or not, you don't understand, and he presents himself to you as a good person, you will still marry him, because they come at you as presentable, they've changed, don't follow everything you read, boom, until you enter there, before you know that it is still the same person. They will never change. On this note, I want to use this medium to send all my love to Precious. You know, I want to say, please stay strong, be patient. The love of a mother is not what anybody can buy on the streets, and I know that eventually you will win. You will win. This fight is for you, and I want to say that we love you on Real Talk with Kike, and we will continue to speak up for you. Just stay strong and make sure that you surround yourself with people that will keep your sanity together. And that is one thing that I feel that women need when they are going through such trials.
Thank you.
Many thanks for that.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
All right. So,
the second trending story that caught our attention is that of Nigerian government that suspends Emirates Airlines, you know, flights to Lagos. Emirates Airlines that flies to Lagos as UAE freezes airpeace. You know, there's been a lot of back and forth on this. Yeah. But Marshall, what's your take on this?
Well, I thought this whole thing started off on the outbreak of Omicron, and as a regulation or measure to kind of stem the tide or spread of Omicron. Is it Omicron? Okay, Omicron. Yes, the coronavirus 3rd wave. It is, but I can already smell politics here, and I just recently heard that the Emirate guys are beginning to ban flights, or Dubai or United Arab Emirates is beginning to ban generally flights, not just the airpiece, or general flights boarding Nigerians, restricts them from boarding Nigerians from any part or bringing them in. You know, so I think it's just becoming too political. I also hear that there are talks from the Nigerian Nigerian part to try to assuage the UK government, the Canadian government, and then the United Arab Emirates as well. And my thoughts were, why would you want to assuage them? Why would you want to talk to them? Why would you want to get them to drop their bans or lift their bans if those bans were geared towards regulating, or rather stemming the tide or spread of Omicron? So you want to now talk to them to lift the bans and all of that?
Okay.
So I just see it is more political than what the news what what was sold to us initially.
All right, many thanks for that. I think anyone who follows this news from the beginning to this very stage will understand that this is nothing but pure selfishness and politics. As at today, the current standing is that the UAE have started allowing other airlines to carry Nigerian passengers down to UAE. Before now,
to stop allowing, they started stopping.
Yeah, so but before now, the UAE have been partial with the slots. They gave our local airliner Airpeace.
Yes.
That this is not, and I'm sorry to say, this is not about being patriotic, trying to take sides with my country, but I just feel that they are just simple facts that can be used to judge the diplomatic exchange. Nigerian airport is will I say, is the host to many foreign airlines, including Emirates. Emirates boards passengers from Nigeria to various destinations of the world from our own international air wings. So now our local airliner has limited slots to Sharjah and in Sharjah in UAE, and yet they are demanding a arm and a leg from us at our own detriment in our own country or in their own country. This is no way close to being fair at all in any standard. So on business grounds, because as an entrepreneur, I always like to look at things from the business angle, and I just feel that it is unfavorable and on diplomatic grounds. I feel that it is biased, and our common sense when it comes to things like this is so unreasonable. And I want to also look at it from another angle, because our indigenous airline Airpeace is also one of the most patriotic airline that we have, even though there's an history with this, because as far as I'm concerned, a report says that the most patriotic and generous, I'm trying to use this for a reason. I'm using this choice of word for a reason, because I don't want it to be that because of my association with the CEO of the airline. So I'm reading from based on what was said, because I know that Airpeace during COVID-19 crisis did evacuation flights free of charge from India, from South Africa, and other parts of the world without collecting a dime from our government. They also, as far as I'm concerned, they also use their own national carriers of the Super Eagles as well to also carry people. It is sad that some members of this present government are part of the people, conspiring against them, which as far as I'm concerned is based on selfishness and greed. And Nigerian politicians have done that. They've done a lot of harm. I just feel that Nigerians, we have to think and start appreciating ourselves. When we sell ourselves cheap at the feet of foreigners, we can't but back our own image with money, because I feel that is exactly what is going on right now. And I want to use this to just say that, whether we like it or not, this is a patriotic and the right thing to do for that the government have done. On that note, I know we've come to the end of the show, so we'll come your way on Thursday. Please keep being real, but remember to catch me on Wednesday. Bye now.